had difficulty making weight, had to leave the weigh-in and go to an extra session on the exercise bike before finally coming back and making 154 pounds. And look at what has happened since then. Santos has gone all the way from 154 up to 170 after 28 hours of hydration. Margarito, who was in tremendous shape to begin with, putting on only 7 pounds from 153 to 160. So net, Santos outweighs Margarito by 10 pounds going into the ring tonight. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Daniel Santos-Antonio Margarito fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt. We go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right. Here comes Antonio Margarito, who has tremendous confidence, as is evidenced by the smile that you see there. Born in the United States, but raised in the tough streets of Tijuana, and therefore seen by most of the world as a Mexican fighter.
Most famous fighter in Tijuana, Eric Morales, the great featherweight, now a junior lightweight champion. Believe it or not, Margarito, whose friend is Morales, and Morales fought 15 years and about 50 pounds ago as amateurs.
In most of his recent bouts, Margarito has been able to trap opponents against the ropes and find chances to do devastation. He has knockout victories over Andrew Sixheads Lewis and other top fighters in the past couple of years. But now he fights a guy who outweighs him by 10 pounds tonight, Manny. Would that affect his chances to knock out Santos?
I think it's Santos' style also. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to knock out Santos. But if anybody can do it, it will be Margarito, because he puts a lot of pressure on him, and he's trained to put pressure in the fight and to throw power punches for the full 12 rounds.
All right, here's a closer look at Antonio Margarito with Larry Merchant.
In those mean streets of Tijuana, a brother of Margarito was murdered some years ago. He chose to escape those streets, met a woman when she was 15 years old in high school, married her. She helped to support him through the early years of his professional career, which started when he was 15. Both of them decided not to have any children. 10 years later, they've stuck to the plan because they want him to go as far as he can as a professional fighter.
Boxing's poster couple for Planned Parenthood. In contrast, one of the elements that observers see as making Miguel Cotto so mature early in his career is that he's had children and fathered them since he was a teenager. Now here comes Daniel Santos. As you can see, his last 3 fights have gone the distance. This is a guy who styles himself a boxer, and as Emmanuel Stewart pointed out in our on-camera, doesn't much care whether the crowd embraces him or not, although they're embracing him as a Puerto Rican as he enters the ring here.
Santos won a gold medal in the 96 Olympics. A bronze medal, thank you, Jim, for correcting me. In the 96 games, he suffered a couple of traumatic events in the few years after that. One, when a pedestrian walked into a car he was driving and was killed. Suffered emotionally from that. And then 5 years ago, when he was knocked out by Kofi Shantua, a tough African fighter. They say he's never been the same since that fight.
Let's take a closer look now at Daniel Santos.
Santos is one of 5 fighting brothers, the only pro. This is only, however, his 3rd fight in Puerto Rico, because his style has not won him many fans here. And as he puts it, I don't entertain.
Well, ring announcer Michael Buffer does. Let's go to him for the official introductions.
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Bienvenidos del Coliseo de Puerto Rico, José Miguel Agrelo, aquí en San Juan, Puerto Rico. Esta noche, Bob Arum Top Rank Incorporated con PR Best Boxing Promotions. Municipio de San Juan, Rones de Puerto Rico y Budweiser presenta boxeo profesional para su entrenamiento. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to San Juan, Puerto Rico, where tonight Bob Arum and Top Rank Incorporated, along with PR Best Boxing Promotions, the city of San Juan, Rums of Puerto Rico, and Budweiser are proud to present an evening of professional boxing for your entertainment. All bouts sanctioned by the Puerto Rico Boxing Commission and the World Boxing Organization. The three judges for this first bout, Los Tres Jueces, Samuel Conde, John Stewart, Rocky Young, and when the bell rings, the referee working in a world title bout for the 47th time, El Arbrito Luis Pabon. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing in the super welterweight division for the World Championship WBO. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, 12 asaltos en la división super welter para el campeonato mundial. Primero en la esquina roja, pesando 153 libras, récord profesional, 30 victorias con 21 knockouts y 3 derrotas. 153 pounds, he has 30 victories, including 21 knockouts with 3 defeats. Damas y caballeros, de Tijuana, México, el ratador, el campeón del mundo welter, Antonio Tony Margarito. En la esquina azul, pesando 154 libras, récord profesional, 28 victorias con 20 knockouts, 2 derrotas y un empate. 154 pounds, 28 victories, including 20 KOs with 2 defeats and 1 draw. Damas y caballeros, el campeón del mundo super welter de Bayamón, Puerto Rico, Daniel Santos.
Viene, Margarito. Bueno, muchachos, ya yo le di las instrucciones en el camerino. Quiero que hagan una pelea limpia, que gane el mejor, que tengan suerte y que Dios los bendiga.
The boxing world are focused on Margarito in this fight because his exciting style could make him a popular player in the middleweight divisions, junior and senior.
And I mentioned Margarito's recent record of knockouts. Starting with the Andrew Six-Heads Lewis fight in February 2003, 3 consecutive second-round KOs against Lewis, Maurice Brantley, and Hercules Quibelos. Santos represents a step up in competition from at least the last 2 names on that opponent list. And of course, you see the southpaw versus conventional fighter confrontation, which poses a tactical challenge mostly for Margarito, trying to find a way to land his power punches. Santos throwing to the body early.
Yes, surprisingly, Santos is not running away. He's sitting down, look like he's trying to make it a punching match, but the way that the 2 bodies collide, it looks like they're going to have to be very careful that they don't end up with a butt again tonight, possibly.
And Santos does come out immediately, standing his ground, and with a surprising tactic because he was expected to be the mover in this equation.
I heard, Jim, that his management told him it's now or never. If you want to make real money, you want to be a television fighter, you're going to have to fight tonight.
That would account for how he's fighting the first round. He just got hit with a left hook flush as he stood against the ropes. Margarito changes to a southpaw stance, throwing his left hook now as a cross, and he lands a straight left cross over the top.
If Santos continue to fight like this here, Margarito has a very good chance of winning this fight. Because I know that Margarito's in excellent shape, because I had the pleasure of taking one of my boxers, Jose Celaya, over to spar with him this past couple of weeks, and he went 12, 13 rounds twice in the inside of a week. I was very impressed with his stamina and conditioning.
Well, Celaya is a southpaw boxer. Did Margarito turn southpaw on him as well?
Yes.
So he's accustomed to spending a long time standing in the southpaw stance.
Yes, he is, but he got hurt very seriously right there.
He did indeed on an over-the-top left hand by Santos. One of the most devastating punches Daniel Santos has ever landed against a good opponent.
And right now, Margarito's very, very hurt.
He is indeed. Goes back to the southpaw stance. Santos comes back with the left hand. Throws to the body as well. Tremendous opportunity here in the first round for Daniel Santos.
And you know, a lot of times when warriors who are not used to being hurt, they get hurt themselves. They don't know how to survive. They don't know how to clinch. They don't know how to cover up.
Margarito is probably as shocked as the rest of us to see Santos standing his ground and wanting to trade and fight with him.
One thing, he has a tremendous obvious weight advantage, which you can see right away. You can see the 10 pounds in different weight.
And there's another solid left cross landed by Santos, flush on the face of Margarito. And Margarito comes back with a body shot that was below the belt. First round coming to a close. Margarito back in his conventional stance. Daniel Santos has shocked Margarito and ringside observers by coming to fight and carrying the round. We remind you to log on to hbo.com/boxing, where our live viewers are invited to submit a question relating to tonight's telecast to either myself or Larry Merchant or Emmanuel Stewart. We'll do our best to answer your question on the air before the conclusion of tonight's main event. So log on and send us a question if you'd like. In both fighters' corners where they speak Spanish, our interpreter is Ray Torres. A lot of urgency between rounds 1 and 2 here.
Here you see Santos standing his ground and trying to surprise Margarito with a left hand.
Santos did surprise Margarito. Surprised everyone.
And at the end of the round, Santos walked back to his corner with a curious look on his face, as if to say, was that me?
Yeah, and he seems to be really, really wound up emotionally for this fight. I think Margarito's best chances of winning is to stay in his conventional right-hand stance. Trying to fight in a southpaw style, something he's not that familiar with, can be a big, big mistake.
Well, it gave Santos a chance to land at least 2 solid left crosses, flush, and now there's a delay as the tape on Santos's left glove is going to be repaired. Gives Margarito just a little bit more chance to consider what's gone on and try to refigure whatever it is he wants to do.
No, estoy aquí.
Another big left hand by Santos. Margarito takes it well this time. And now Margarito's going to attack with his right hand.
This is turning out to be a surprising fight to me. It's more than the guys are sitting down there punching. As no longer Santos trying to just outbox him like I thought he would.
They're going to trade shots. And Margarito is starting to warm to the task.
Margarito is still a tremendous puncher. Even with the weight discrepancy, I still think he's a much stronger puncher than Santos.
And he has come in the second round determined to mix the body attack with the head. Has gone to the body 2 or 3 times with powerful effect. Another brace of body shots from Margarito. Just stepping in and throwing to the body.
His punches are not really short, accurate punches, but either he's throwing quite a few of them, and every punch that he throws has a lot of power.
Another left hand lands flush for Santos. Margarito is now taking those left hands and walking through them.
And I don't know if Santos is used to this type of a fight. Seems like he's deviated from his standard style.
Yeah, he looks a little uncomfortable.
Yes.
Even while he's trying, doing what he feels he has to do.
And now Margarito is getting his feet on the ground a little bit and is landing more of his big shots. Santos misses with the left hand. Margarito wailing away at the body. He's winging those shots. There's no technical expertise in it, Manny. He's leaving himself open to body return.
His defense is very leaky, but I just still don't know if Santos is going to be prepared to fight this type of a puncher's fight, so to say.
Takes a lot of willpower to step in there and keep doing something that you haven't done before in big fights. Santos still wants to try it, but now he's starting to back off more frequently.
Margarito shooting a lot of body punches, and I think he's going to surprise Santos by then trying to shoot a right hand right on the chin when he least expects it.
Fascinating first 2 rounds. Fight has already changed once or twice. Surprising strategy by Santos. And already an adjustment by Margarito. September 14 marks the premiere of a very special film from HBO, 9 Innings from Ground Zero. It's a compelling look at the role baseball played in New York following the attacks of 9/11, and it revisits the thrilling 7-game World Series between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. 9 Innings from Ground Zero, September 14.
The straight right hand, right to the, and then come back with the left hook. Very good. That's it. The jab in the front.
CompuBox numbers on power punches through round 2. Santos has landed 21 of 46. Margarito's already thrown 87, just letting his hands go in that second round, landing only 24, but several of them were to the body and seemed to begin to affect the combat. Santos lands another left cross upstairs. Margarito flails to the body 3 or 4 times. Margarito nods as if to say, you can hit me with that left cross all you want now. I see it coming.
That's exactly what I thought he was going to do right there, was to land that right hand to the chin after punching to the body so much. And right now, Santos seems to be very uncomfortable. And it's amazing Santos is not using his jab as often as he is in the past, which is his best punch.
Well, if you've committed to fighting for one style, and you're doing it to please your management, to try to change the course of your career.
And I saw the head collision is almost about to happen again between these two guys.
Because Margarito doesn't care. He'll do anything to get close. He's willing to take punishment at this point to get in and have a chance to straight Santos to the body and the head from close range. Santos just throwing that straight left now, no longer trying to put power behind it.
And I think that's what he should do, is quit worrying about power. Because Margarito is very open defense-wise, but the fact that he's throwing so many punches, and I don't think that Santos is looking for him to come back with those punches from the angles that he's coming in.
Now Santos begins to just put some leather on it and begins to be a little bit more accurate. And there's a combination left and right for Santos as he begins to reestablish himself in the fight. Margarito has slowed down momentarily. Santos, who was inaccurate for a while, goes back to landing his punches.
It seems almost an act of will for Santos to stand there and fight him the way he's fighting him.
Yes, it is, and I don't know if it's going to end up being good for him going down the stretch, though. It's just a style that he's not used to fighting.
Margarito will trade all night. He lands a big left hook on Santos there. Santos is trying to do something he's not accustomed to doing in trading with
Margarito was hurt very seriously there by a right hook that he didn't see from Santos.
But he's not letting Santos know it. They trade again.
This is turning out to be a tremendous fight.
Sensational action. Both men are landing solidly. There's a huge left hand by Santos. And Margarito lands a right. 10 seconds to go in what has been a hellacious round 3.
Santos is shooting much more accurate punches, and also I think the extra weight is making a big factor as the fight is progressing also.
Crowd likes it.
Good round. You did your job. Give me the towel. That's your work. That's the way it goes. That's it. Your right hand. And then your left hand. 1, 2, 3 combination.
Haz una pinta y mueve tu lado y suelta los
Yeah,
golpes.
you gotta feint them and then let the punches go.
Como que los vas a tirar, pero
Like if you're gonna throw, hit him and don't throw it, then throw. Feint him. You gotta block his punches. Be smart. Hey, don't stand right there. Move.
Santos is promoted by an outfit called Warrior Boxing, which seemed filled with irony until this fight started.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's changed his style.
As we go to the 4th round, Harold Letterman, how do you have the first 3?
Okay, Jim. One heck of a fight. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28. Daniel Santos. Jim, the first round, unquestionably, Santos won with the good left hands. The second round, Margarito beat the heck out of him to the body. I mean, just murdered him, backed him up with body shots. Santos keeps crying to the referee. That's not going to do him any good. And round 3, Daniel Santos just outpunched him with left hands in a close round. 2-1, Daniel Santos.
I have a hunch that Margarito is thinking, if the fight continues in this pattern, the scorecards aren't going to matter. Somebody's going to get somebody.
I believe you're right, Jim. And Santos has landed a more accurate, cleaner punches, plus the weight advantage. But still, if you're in Santos' corner, you still have to worry, particularly with those body punches that Margarito is shooting. They're wide, but if any of them start landing effectively after a while, you don't never know what's going to happen.
Should you also be concerned about the way Margarito is taking Santos's left hand?
Yes, he is, and still Margarito has proven that he is still a bigger puncher, even though he's a smaller man.
And we have to remember that Kofi Shantu, as a welterweight, stopped Santos.
Referee Luis Pabon sends him back into action. Santos, I think, was complaining about a punch behind the head. Counter right hand by Santos there as he backs away. Margarito is telegraphing these punches and just wailing away.
And the thing about it is all of those punches have full power on them. They may not look that much, but there's a lot of power in those punches.
Question, Emmanuel, can Santos maintain this pace, having not fought this way?
That's a good question. Anytime you get a guy to change up and try to fight a style he's not used to, it causes a lot of problems as the fight progresses on. And this is not his normal style.
But he continues to stand his ground and trade with Margarito, and continues to get the better of it offensively.
He's landing the more accurate pinpoint punches, but the idea, I just still feel that he's not that comfortable with the way the fight is going, where if Margarito doesn't get knocked out, it's going to be a nightmare for Santos in the latter half of this fight.
Santos averaging only 18 jabs per round. Normally, he's a 30 jab per round guy. At least 4 times, Santos has looked to the referee for a ruling, for help, for a warning against Margarito. Looks like he's not going to get any help from the referee. He's chosen to fight this rough physical style. He's going to have to live with it down the stretch.
Well, he's still the most accurate puncher between the two of them.
And he's exposing Margarito's crudeness in a way.
Yes.
He broke your right hand. Keep throwing that right hand. You got in there. And then the left hook. How do you feel? Use your jab also. Don't just stand there. Not for 1 second, don't stand there. Move.
Dani, entra y sale.
In and out, jab, yeah. Okay, that's the way we train. 1, 2, and then to the side.
No te pegues, no te dejes pegar en la soga. Ok, coge el medio ring.
One of the biggest things that I've been worried about after the first round was the fact that the styles between these two guys seem as they synchronized to the point where it's easy for them guys to butt heads. But the short, straight left has been probably the most successful, consistent punch from Santos so far in the entire fight.
Combi box numbers in the fourth round. Santos 14 out of 39, 35%. Margarito 21 out of 77. Santos only threw 14 jabs in the round. Continues to fight a power puncher's fight against a power puncher.
But he's also neutralizing the high output of punches that Margarito generally tends to throw. He's thrown as many as 120 punches around in a 10-round fight.
I've been impressed also with Santos' chin, too, because he's got caught with a couple of pretty good shots. And even though he has a big weight advantage in his fight, Margarito's a tremendous puncher. Santos is taking all of the punches at this point.
Just as Margarito has taken Santos's best stuff.
Yeah, even though he got rocked there for a moment.
Margarito opening his hands, leaving himself open as a target, just trying to land. And coming back to the body time and time again. That's one difference in the fight in Margarito's favor. He has invested far more wisely early in body shots.
And I think they may pay off, not only by wearing him down and hurting him, but having him where he's going to be looking for a body punch when he can nail him on the chin instead.
He hit him with a big left hand to the body that drove Santos into the ropes in that exchange.
Eventually, Santos is going to be trying to worry about protecting his body by using his elbows more so than he's been punching.
There goes Margarito again, under Santos's left elbow. And again, right hand, left hand to the body. Margarito occasionally mixing in a punch upstairs, but mostly just firing at the ribcage, over and over.
And a lot of them are landing, too. He's hurt.
He wobbled Santos with that chopping right hand. Set it up with the left to the body. Now here comes Margarito with a flurry.
Yeah, and that was in the southpaw stance.
Yeah.
And he hit him with the right hand. Again.
Back in the southpaw stance and ready to trade again.
Margarito, as I said, even though he's smaller, he's still a harder puncher between the two.
He's happy to take whatever Santos wants to throw for the chance to hit him back.
But Santos is firing back.
What a courageous performance so far by Daniel Santos. Fighting a style he doesn't normally fight against a guy who is a whirlwind of body and head punching.
And Margarito can keep this pace up all night. As I told you, he's in unbelievable condition. I very seldom see a guy train for almost an hour and a half non-stop.
Crowd loved what Daniel Santos is trying to do, but he's getting hit some very big shots.
Who said a leopard can't change its spots?
This Wednesday, catch the season premiere of Inside the NFL. Join hosts Bob Costas, Chris Collinsworth, Dan Marino, and Chris Carter for a mix of exclusive game highlights, in-depth features, analysis, and predictions inside the NFL.
Then you're the intelligent one. You got to use your fight. Move, box. Don't get on the road. Come on.
You know, as the saying goes, you play the numbers game. The guy who keeps throwing a lot of punches, especially if you're a power puncher, sooner or later you got to start landing. And that's what's happened right here. They're just in exchange, punches coming from different angles, but Margarito throws so many punches.
Surprisingly, this fight has turned out to be one of those fights between a Mexican and a Puerto Rican.
And they're fighting.
That may be memorable, like Wilfredo Gomez against Zarate and Pintor, Sanchez, Rosario against Chavez and Ramirez. There's a history of this type of thing that's being played out here in the middle of the ring right now.
And it's a good power punching fight. Very little boxing going on at all. And Santos is not doing much punching at all.
Yeah, in the 5th round, Antonio Margarito threw 104 punches and landed 41 of them, including 38 of 87 power shots. So Margarito really put his imprint on the fight in the 5th round. Hey, Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya sitting by watching this, waiting to be interviewed between fights. Guys, this'll do next Saturday night. This'll do fine.
There's the butt again.
And the blood begins to flow.
Exactly what I was expecting.
Blood from above the right eye of Margarito. And if we wind up going to the scorecards, it could be a very interesting story.
You're right, Jim. I have Margarito ahead 3 rounds to 2. It could easily go the other way here in Santos's hometown. There has to be some sense of urgency now in Margarito.
That's a very bad cut.
Minute 54 to go in the round.
Almost identical to the cut in the first fight.
And Margarito knows his assignment now. And Santos has a new opportunity to score as the blood flows into Margarito's right eye.
And he's going for that eye. It seems to have energized him.
If you're Santos's corner, you just want your fighter to win the round. If you're Margarito's corner, you better be hoping for a knockout.
I think it's urgent for both of them to win this round.
The cut is great urgency from both fighters.
And Santos is the one who's taking advantage. He's landed 4 accurate combinations since the fight resumed after the cut.
And this could be a crucial round if they have to go to a scorecard, too.
It's been Santos's round so far with a minute to go.
Time.
And now referee Luis Pavon with another stoppage, as once again they'll look at the cut. Clock starts again with 50 seconds remaining in the round. Margarito lands a right hand. Santos holding up well now. And now Santos begins to make himself just a little bit more elusive.
Yes, he is.
Using his feet a little bit more now.
I don't think the fight can continue with that cut unless he's got a miracle. That's the thing with that. So the scorecard may be the factor in determining who's the winner of this fight.
Cutman in Antonio Margarito's corner is Francisco Espinosa. And Francisco Espinosa's got a job to do now. Here's the headbutt. Manny kept saying it was inevitable.
Yeah, you could see when the fight started, just the styles between the guys were just synchronized towards having a headbutt.
Okay, we can stop that, and we're on top, okay? We're winning this fight. With the pressure you're going to put on him, we're going to win this fight. Pressure, that's what you need. In and out, and then a lot of punches. Just pressure. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Give him some water. You heard what I'm saying? The pressure is the key. What round is this? The 5th or 6th?
Emmanuel, if you're in the corner of Santos, you tell him now just try to win rounds because this fight is likely to be stopped.
Absolutely, Larry. At this stage here, I would tell him just to box, don't take any chances, particularly with a guy like Margarito, who was a strong puncher still.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I have it 3 rounds each, 57-57. Now let's talk about what could happen in this fight. Jim, if the fight gets stopped in the middle of a round because of that cut, you score the partial round, and then you go to the scorecards. So remember, if it gets stopped in the middle, you score that half a round. That's vital. Another thing, in round 4, in my estimation, Daniel Santos went down. He got knocked into the ropes by a body punch. The ropes were holding him up. Louis Pabon said no knockdown. That extra point could be the difference in this fight.
Blood begins to flow from Margarito's right eye. But he switches to the southpaw stance.
What's been very effective for Margarito is the left hook that he throws from an angle. For whatever reason, Santos never seems to see the left hook that comes around the side of the head. But I felt that at one point, Harold, it was when the guy who was accidentally the victim of it, but that possibly he got that round if the round ended. And they gave it, I think that possibly was a factor in Julio Cesar Chavez's rematch with Frankie Randall.
Well, no, that was just the WBC, his pals, deciding that Chavez could end the fight when he felt like it.
CompuBox numbers in 6 show how Santos took advantage of the cut, landing twice as many power punches as Margarito did. So Margarito's momentum was definitely stalled by the cut. Now, with the blood only trickling from his right eye, Margarito stalks and stalks. Santos manages to strafe the glove across the cut eye, and now he lands a solid left right on the eyebrow. Hard right hand inside by Margarito. Backs Santos up. Santos continues to blow out of his nose. Could cause some swelling if Margarito can continue to apply punishment. Margarito still going to the body.
Margarito having a good round as Santos seemed to let up a little, trying to figure out just what he has to do.
There's a mouse under Santos's right eye. We'll see if Margarito manages to open that later.
And Margarito's landing the most effective blows this round, too.
He's winning it decisively, in my estimation.
Definitely won the 7th round, or so it would appear from here. Not to mention that his cut man, Francisco Espinosa, did a pretty good job between rounds.
He did an excellent job. Excellent job he did, but that's a bad cut.
You gotta go in there throwing punches that way you want. Don't worry about it. I got it under control. Close your eyes. Don't open it. Yeah, don't open that eye. I got it covered. How you feeling? Are you tired? No. We're going to continue putting the pressure on him. The last couple of rounds, that's going to make the difference. A lot of work. We're going to... Don't try to exchange with him. Yeah, move around, move to the side. Yeah, come on, go against his right hand.
Jim, you think we were victims of what they call in football a misdirection play when Santos told us, "I don't entertain"?
Well, I mean, I think that he certainly didn't want us or anybody else to know what his real plan for this fight was, and what excitement it provided when he came into the first round and stood his ground and traded punches instead of doing what everybody here expected him to do.
You have to understand that we heard that Santos was actually booed in his hometown of Bayamon in a recent fight.
You've made the point many times, Larry. Styles sell fighters. Some fighters gain fans whether they win or lose because of the way in which they fight. Santos's wins haven't amounted to a fan base. Maybe this will. Margarito assaulting Santos again in this round, just as he did in the 7th.
Margarito has been beating Santos up in the last round and a half.
Yeah, he's walking in. His defense isn't that great, but he's just throwing so many punches. It seems like he doesn't have any respect for Santos, even though Santos has been hitting him with a lot of clean punches earlier. He seemed to have totally lost respect for him. And actually is getting away from most of Santos' punches now.
Well, Margarito has great experience. He hasn't lost a fight in 8 years.
Oh, my God.
You have to assume Margarito says to himself, all right, now that I'm cut, Daniel will go back to boxing. That leaves me free to attack.
You know, and another interesting thing is that Santos was doing better when he was trying to exchange than when he's trying to box.
When he's trying to box, he doesn't land that many punches. Believe it or not, Margarito, for whatever reason, is able to pick off the punches easily.
Great question from the internet, Larry and Emmanuel. Do you think the 10-pound weight difference that favors Santos in the fight is showing up?
I think the weight difference prevented him from being knocked out. I think if he had been lighter than this, the body bulk is what saved him from being knocked out, I think, a few rounds back.
You agree, Larry?
I'm not sure. We have to remember that Margarito is stepping up in weight, in the middleweight division, and maybe his punches just don't carry the force they did as a welterweight.
I think perhaps they're starting to, as again he chases Santos around the ring with power punches in the 8th round, just as he did in the 7th. Santos lands a left hand on the cut eye. Margarito smiles as Santos again lands the left right on the cut eye. And at the end of the round, it was Margarito who was jabbing, just trying to find some room. Close look at the deep cut on the right eyebrow. And here are a variety of flirtations of the head which have taken place during the course of the fight.
Yeah, a veritable pageant of headbutts. Or near headbutts. Which is why some of us think that many southpaws should be washed out to sea in 25-foot waves.
Southpaws say that about conventional fighters. What are all these guys doing with their left hands out in front of them? Fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. We go into the 9th. All right. Moisture on the canvas. Margarito smiled as he switched into the southpaw stance, keeps going to the body, and now Pabon steps in and says, that one was a little low. Keep it up.
He's on the belt line, which is the top part of the cup for the most part. It's interesting, the last few rounds, to me, seem like Margarito is blocking most of the punches from Santos. In particular, the straight left that he was getting hit with so much, he seems to be catching it a lot now with his right glove.
Except in the latter portion of the last round, when Santos was able to land it 2 or 3 times.
But a more accurate puncher, even though it's a little sloppy the way he does, it seems to be Margarito towards landing blows.
Santos sticks a jab in Margarito's face. Margarito comes back with 2 body shots. Santos with a big right hand upstairs.
Big right hook. Very, very good right
Yeah, Margarito was wobbled by that right hook.
Good right hook.
Santos busted him with that one. Again, they clash heads as Margarito lands body shots. Margarito seems to be switching to the southpaw stance to try to avoid hitting Santos's head with his cut eye.
And no one is doing it intentionally, just the styles way the 2 guys collide all the time.
Chopping left hand by Santos. Now the blood begins to flow from Margarito's right eye again. Margarito catches Santos against the ropes. This is the bloodiest Margarito's been in 2 rounds. Hard body shot. Margarito wailing away at Santos's body and then nodding at him as if to say, if you take that, I'll give you another one.
If Santos would box, he could probably win this fight very easy because Margarito is so wide with his defense when he comes in.
Left hand lands for Santos, momentarily backs Margarito up. Antonio comes back again. Margarito has a tremendous knack of getting in close on your chest and then still finding room to throw a long, big punch.
Not a very artful fight. Not a very scientific fight.
But an aggressive fight.
But a brawl that has its drama because it's so unexpected.
Pretty even round. Santos walks to the wrong corner. Now decides to walk to his own. Santos came over to the neutral corner and flirted with us for about 5 or 10 seconds before turning around to walk to his own.
He's really wired up tonight.
Hope the guys are enjoying the fight. We'll talk to Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya between fights. Then the fight that was expected to be sensational, and maybe it will be, Miguel Cotto against Kelson Pinto. Grudge match with a perfect style confrontation.
Okay, you got to put pressure on him and keep your hands up. And put pressure. That's the pressure. More pressure.
CompuBox numbers in the 9th round. Santos 22 out of 56. Margarito 20 out of 74. Santos with a 19-14 edge in power connects. Margarito's might have been a more spectacular in a couple of cases. Now the doctor looks at Margarito's eye one more time.
Doctor seems to be shaking his head to stop the fight.
Ya, súbanse, ya. Ya, se acabó. Sí. Se vuelve la tarjeta. Sí, juega de caso.
So they're going to go to the scorecards, or so it appears, as the ring is suddenly flooded with cornermen and seconds, and the doctor has decided not to allow Margarito to continue.
I have the fight 5 rounds to 4 for Margarito. It could go the other way.
I think the fact that we're in San Juan figures in.
I don't know, Joe.
I don't either, to be honest.
We know it won't figure in if Margarito gets the nod.
If Margarito loses, it'll be his first loss in 8 years. It'll be by far the biggest win of Daniel Santos' career.
And he will go back to the welterweight division.
Number 1. We beat them.
Harold, how do you have it? Harold, put on your headset. Harold, how do you have it scored so far?
Okay, Jim, you know, there's a question as to whether you scored a 10th round. I mean, nothing happens, so you'd have to score it even. But be as it may, let's go after 9. 86, 85, 5 rounds to 4, Antonio Margarito. I thought Santos did enough to come back to win round 9, make it a little bit closer, but certainly Margarito won round 7, and they go away with those body shots. I think he deserves the fight. The 10-pound weight advantage helped Daniel Santos because he'd hold constantly and lay on Margarito, and that's where that 10-pound weight advantage really helped him.
So scorecards, we assume, are being gathered. Only 9 rounds to score. It's impossible to say whether they'll try to score the 10th. It went no more than 5 or 10 seconds without any significant action.
Two times these guys have fought, and both fights have ended with butts.
Maybe they won't fight again.
Nope.
I don't think the public will clamor for a third headbutt fight, although this was a pretty good brawl.
Santos averaged just 12 jabs per round among his 45 total punches thrown per round, as he came out and fought exactly the style we expected him not to fight.
One of the more interesting spectators to all this is Kermit Cintrone, the undefeated young welterweight. When he beat Reed last time, that was for an interim WBO title. This is all very Byzantine. If Margarito wins, he will be declared its welterweight champion.
Yes, because
if
will be vacant.
Santos wins or draws, then Margarito will go back to being its welterweight champion.
And you've been looking at the CompuBox graphics of punch-stat numbers for the fight, which showed that Margarito threw more. Santos landed at a higher rate of accuracy. Anybody's guess as to who landed the harder punches, although our guess would probably be Margarito. Michael Buffer, we're told, has the result. So here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, because of an accidental headbutt, the bout could no longer continue. We go to the scorecards after 9 rounds. Judge Conde scores the bout, 86-85, Santos. Rocky Young scores it. Pardon me, John Stewart scores it, 86-85, Margarito. Rocky Young scores it, 87-84. The winner by split decision and still champion de Bayamón, Puerto Rico,